Hi, it's Kasian, and it's time for our weekly conference call at VectorspaceAI. First, we'll start with what's happening around the world. 13 U.S. troops and 60 Afghans have been killed in an attack on U.S. forces at the Kabul airport during evacuation. And more attacks are anticipated. And this connects to geopolitical stability, which connects to world markets. BTC has hit 50K and retraced down to 47K. ETH is at 3K, and the Dow is hovering around 35,200. On the industry side, Tesla AI Day happened August 19th. That was the day after our last conference call. And quoting, "What we want to show today is that Tesla is much more than an electric car company," CEO Elon Musk told the audience at the company's highly publicized artificial intelligence event. But while the event outlined bold promises for super smart systems, Tesla introduced an AI robot. Continuing on the industry side, the world's largest chip is creating AI networks larger than the human brain. The wafer scale Engine 2 chip from Cerebras is helping support 100x larger AI models than ever before. And this, of course, is interesting to any company involved with AI and machine learning. It used to be thought that women used to be less intelligent due to brain size differences between males and females. That's been proven false, along with a bunch of other assumptions based on belief systems. Now, one thing that we've learned is that neurons in the human brain are around 86 billion, and there are about 256 billion in elephant brains. However, in the cerebral cortex, humans have 16.3 billion neurons, while elephants have 5.6 billion. Network complexity is a factor. Under themes and events, supply chains have been in the news. And Ford Motor Company has seen delays and predicts extended delays based on semiconductor shortages. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the world's largest chip maker is to raise prices, threatening costlier electronics, and that would be Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And according to the Wall Street Journal, they are set to increase prices of some of their most advanced chips by roughly 10%, while less advanced chips will increase by 20%. And continuing with themes and events, cybersecurity has been a running theme, and Google and Microsoft plan to spend billions on cybersecurity after meeting with the White House. And again, connected to cybersecurity, China's Microsoft hack may have had a bigger purpose than just spying. That's taken from another headline. On the corp side, everything is in process and steady as she goes. And under engineering, product ops, and QA, we are gearing up for multiple demos. And as mentioned last week, we are preparing for Chicago demos and a few others as customers before, during, and after begin to line up. This also includes engineering operations such as crawling, QA, and testing, both informal and formal. We've also had a focus on technical debt management. And if anyone is not familiar with technical debt and its connection to a technology company, that would be a good term to look up. Technical debt. If you have too much of it, it will slow you down. So you're always in the process of removing it to make yourself more efficient. Under customers, partners, and collaborators, everything is steady as she goes there. And we will have additional updates next week as we are head down on mostly engineering. Under the corporate strategy side, business development, and sales and marketing, we are also continuing to gear up, and that's for demos and new products, which we'll touch on in just a bit. Under IR, PR, and Marcom, these demos that we're working on will result and new product announcements. And that's something we can look forward to. It's not something that we talk about too much. We do like to surprise the market with new products from time to time. And we can say that most of our new products, I'd say in fact every one of them so far, has been based on a prototype or a demo. And polishing these new products, giving them billion-dollar polish, making them commercial grade, along with the customer support and onboarding processes, is one of our goals. So we can look forward to new product announcements, in addition to new SAB announcements and others related to our Chicago experience. On the exchanges side, everything is in process, and we are now going to go to questions from the trader base. Question 1. How does anyone know when the owner's around 50% stake of all VXV tokens are unlocked? In the FAQ it says all ownership coins were locked for 4 years. If coins were locked around when it seems the company was first started in 2017, that means 50% of VXV coins will be unlocked as soon as December 2021. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm understanding that the circulating supply is now around 38 million. So could you please give more info about this part of the tokenomics? These are not tokenomics. This is what you call a capitalization table. This is financial engineering. Tokenomics connect to how your token makes money for the company, revenue, transaction fees, and so forth. When it comes to the cap table and how our cap table is financially engineered, 50% is not what the team has right now. The team has a lot less than 50% of the tokens. The team maintains around 10 million tokens right now. And this would mean that the rest are in the circulating in the open market. In terms of unlocking, it is true. By 2021, we will experience an unlocking period, but it will be for an absolute minimum amount of tokens. Some tokens were used to raise capital for this company. A translation to this question would be, when will VXV experience sell pressure as a trading vehicle? So the concern here can be alleviated by the simple fact that we do have about 10 million tokens. We are planning on holding on to those, but not only that, we are not in the business of giving away our tokens here, especially at the valuation we are looking at right now. We are in the business of buying back tokens. We are interested in collecting a maximum amount of VXV. Question 2, if we are talking that big and long term, any ideas how future quant computing might affect the potential of VXV, negative or positive? Somebody with more scientific understanding or an answer. So first off, any technology, such as quantum computing, that results in increased ability to engage in nonlinear calculations or parallel calculations, similar to DNA computing, where you're doing things that don't rely on contiguous linear calculations, benefits anything that you do when it comes to computing matrices or engaged in matrix multiplication or n-by-n multiplication of anything. And that would include vectors within vector space. So that would be a net positive for us. More so than most companies, as the calculations we do would significantly improve in their efficiency. Question 3, what does the team think about Palantir buying gold? Do you see Vectorspace as a competitor to Palantir in obtaining government contracts, or do you think you can coexist with them? Well, we certainly will be experiencing co-opetition, as it said, with Palantir. But when it comes to Palantir buying gold, it looks like they're trying to be different. Otherwise, they'd be buying crypto. That's our thought on that action of theirs. And in terms of them being a competitor with government contracts come in all forms and sizes, especially when it comes to data and industries. And if Palantir were to establish a scientific advisory board with knowledge expertise in specific areas of biosciences that Lawrence Berkeley National Lab specializes in, then they would be certainly somebody we'd be competing with when it would come to relationship network mapping between objects, where these objects could be either proteins, genes, or biochemicals, micronutrients, drug compounds, and so forth. Pathways as well. Question 4. Any CEX centralized exchange listing approaching soon? The answer is yes. Question 5. Any idea if the team sees a chain agnostic solution rather than being tied to Ethereum? We do see a chain agnostic solution in what we have to offer. Implementing that solution wouldn't make sense for us at this time. Implementing a solution where we would leverage a custom-built chain, where we roll one from the ground up ourselves, where we are looking at an industry, looking at the attributes associated with objects within that industry. You might even call it an ontology of that industry, or a controlled vocabulary related to that industry. We would want a chain to be able to be fit to an industry, be able to leverage the attributes within that industry and create hash values, not just of a data set, but hashed values of veins of calculations or strings of calculations, networks of calculations separately. We won't get into the details on this, but we have been conducting an analysis on what it would mean what it would take to, and what it would mean to develop our own chain for a given industry. For example, space biosciences or the financial markets. So in terms of being agnostic, we would be looking to build industry-specific chains. And those would relate to datasets, AI, and ML. So different chains for different industries. That's our view on how to leverage the blockchain in what we do. Question 6. If hedge funds and other large organizations require VXV to purchase datasets, would they have to get the required VXV on exchanges like Uniswap and CoinMetro, for example? Or is there another avenue in which they can find the required VXV? Yes, there is another avenue they can find the required VXV, where they can acquire the VXV. There are other platforms, and there are also OTC mechanisms that we can leverage for this. So they would not be restricted to Uniswap or CoinMetro. And next, we have our final section, our strategy section, and we touched on technical debt and the fact that we are engaged and going to be engaging for the next week or two on re-engineering technical debt that we have, and that largely includes taking from our prototype pipeline and either refactoring, translating code to our production pipeline, our new pipeline. And that's an ongoing process as optimizations continue in the experimental pipeline or prototyping pipeline, and then get transferred, tested for the new experimental pipeline. So it's going to be a quiet week next week. We're going to be heads down, not just on demo-related activities, but also on re-engineering technical debt. And on an unrelated note, the investment club has been garnering quite a bit of attention on public channels, and we wanted to mention that we are progressing quite nicely with the investment club. We anticipate getting a final sign-off from our legal arm. This would be our corporate counsel and the law firms that we use to oversee some of our actions as we move into the United States. We're going to make sure that we have all our I's dotted and T's crossed when it comes to the investment club. So we will expect a final sign-off on that from our legal arm, our legal team. And that would be related to everything that is being talked about on the VXV Thematic Baskets channel. So if you haven't joined that channel, we'd encourage everyone to do that. Anyone that would be interested in trading thematic baskets for stocks or cryptos. And we'd also like to mention, related, that the reason thematic baskets exist and the innovation behind thematic baskets is due to the space biosciences industry. This is where we developed this technology. And from time to time, we do like to remind the public that our work in space biosciences results in what the public benefits from today, what our community benefits from, and that includes thematic baskets. And in terms of music discovery, music search, and music recommendation, also born from the space biosciences industry. So we can expect more product, more innovation as we advance in this area. And then finally, we touched on this headline: China's Microsoft hack may have had a bigger purpose than just spying. Data that gets stolen when there's a hack, in this day and age, gets transformed into datasets and is used to fuel operations, such as China's AI systems, or any operation where data has been stolen. It's usually used to reframe or reform into a data set that then can be used to make predictions for a nation-state AI system. So this is something that connects to our core here at VectorspaceAI, and that's data provenance, data governance, data lineage, and data security. And that happens on-chain. This concludes our call this week. We'd encourage everyone to join next week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to join us online. Thank you.